Let's go. All right. First, this episode is brought to you by, thank you to Kiran from Atara Group and for being our water sponsor. Appreciate it. And I got to give a shout out to Steve at Gable's Cafe for a little coffee. We have Robby in the studio and Ximena today. Robby from Improv, or from multiple Improvs, runs that organization. And Jimena, who is doing a event in the city now in collaboration with Robby called Miami es un chiste, which is true.
It's the perfect title.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That's the perfect title, okay? Yeah. So, Jimena, tell us a little bit about the concept of the event and how long it took you to kind of like start it up, and give us a little feedback, more than anything, on your history and why you got here.
Yeah, well, I have been in the comedy world like 15 years working as a producer. I produced many shows of many initially Venezuelan comedians here in United States and all over the place. And now I'm beginning to connect with all this digital content of comedians are doing. Like I'm touring many comedians from Spain, Argentina, Venezuela, Dominicans. So the plan was to get all these people here in Miami and do a comedy festival with all what's happening on the comedy world.
Yeah. So I've talked to Robby multiple times. And I think he's obviously been a huge catalyst in the city of bringing comedy like to Miami. Growing up, I know it was the Improv in the Grove, was it? There was a little Improv in the Grove.
Two in the Grove, but yeah, that's where it originated.
Yeah, and I never got a chance to go to one of those. The first time I ever went to an Improv was when you had invited me.
Out here?
It was one of the first shows, in Doral, ever.
Wow.
I was, for whatever reason, I thought I would fall asleep. I'm like, dark room, it happens to me in the theaters. I'm like, I'll probably... it was a fucking great experience, Yeah. I went to go see Mr. Red and Louis, which happened to be friends of mine.
Yeah.
But I want you to talk about, and I think I asked you this last time, and I think you've like added a boost to it, but the comedy scene in Miami, where do you see it going? I see a lot of local comedians coming up.
I mean, I think you have to start with the point of Miami in itself, right? Miami is a very diverse, energetic, to say the least, city as far as what goes on. I mean, those of us that live here and have been here for years, there's a joking side to that and a real side. But when it comes to comedy, from all that culture and influence and even chaos, you just create these characters and these people that come out of it. And, Miami as a city offers so much material, and then you work in the last couple of years with the influence in comedy in general of what social media and technology alone has done with exposure for these people and an opportunity to make a living doing their craft. So they're getting better at it. They're able to pay their bills. They're able to keep furthering themselves and make it a career. It's in the last 5 years, just giving that since we've been reopened, it's been an explosion. I mean, it's been an explosion everywhere. Part of the reason for this festival is, when she came to me about 1.5 years ago, she's just getting this influx from people all over South America, the Caribbean, Europe, that are like wanting to break into the market and coming to her for it. And it's like the timing it's a wave of talent coming, and we're trying to create this festival as kind of the bridge for people internationally to come and get exposure, make connections. It's not just a show that we're selling tickets for. We're trying to really create something for the industry. Local talent can interact with international talent, vice versa, management, agencies, production, like really making it something that's special for the city and for, I guess, the world of comedy.
Yeah, and the best part about it is that you get to laugh,
Yes.
Like, and in this day and age, you need a lot of that, I think,
and it's a big space for the English speaking, but for the Hispanic speaking, it's like something new, and it's a little bit like more complicated to unite all these people from all over the world. It's like the Venezuelan have a way of speaking, the Argentina have another one. So, but social media has started to talk one language. Mm-hmm. So that I have make many tours like for a Spanish comedian that he came, and we did 22 shows where his community were all a mix of communities. Like he have Colombian, Cuban, Puerto Rican, Venezuelan. So what is happening now with all this digital content is that the comedians that are talking in one language.
I never saw it like that.
Yeah, we were talking about this last week, and it's like when we used to book, you're obviously looking at your demographic specifically for who's coming in, but even and it's as recent as the last couple of years, we're noticing the crossover and all the different. It's not just specifically Venezuelans for a Venezuelan community comic or Cubans for a Cuban comic. There's a lot more crossover that's happened just in the last couple of years.
Yeah, because my wife told me that I was telling you earlier that Andres Lopez was in town. And I said, well, no, let's go watch it. That's fine. Not a problem. And then she goes, I don't think you're going to like it. And I'm like, well, why not? She goes, well, it's in Spanish. It's like a different type of comedy. But you're saying that that's not the case anymore. People are coming across culture.
I have a show here in Miami with Led Varela. He's a comic here. He's from Venezuela and Uruguay, but we have twice a month. And you can see like many new community coming in, and I say, I didn't know him, but I have so much fun, and I knew new comedians because we bring new comedians to open the show. So I think this festival will open the door and bring all this community together, and you can meet new comedians that you didn't imagine that they exist. That they're funny, and you will have a great time.
To your point, I went to El Caballo's show a couple months ago now. I think it was the one from last year, not the one that recently passed.
Yep.
And before he went on, there was a Brazilian comedian that came on, and he was hilarious, making everybody laugh. And I was very impressed. I don't know who he is right now. I can't remember off the top of my mind. But that goes to your point that is true. It goes cross borders.
And that's what we want to do with this festival. The experience I do like 300 shows a year with many comedians. So, and I have been in the market like 15 years. So I know I'm trying to do the best with the lineup. So the lineup that will be in the festival is the best of the best that you have seen in the Hispanic market.
I was going to ask you, what do you think is like for a comedian that's coming out of town or from another country? What do you think is with your history now, 15 years, managing that type of talent? What do you think is like the hardest thing to break through into an American market? Because I'm sure a lot of them want to come here because you obviously sell tickets, you make more money, you get into a bigger audience. This is, what do you think is the most difficult part of a comedian breaking into the U.S.?
What is difficult is when you are stuck in your niche, only in your community, when you talk only when you come here to United States, obviously. It's like if you are Spanish and you only speak for the Spanish people, when you go out of your country, it's more harder to sell tickets. But when you start doing content, universal, contenido universal, you open your comedy to everyone. So that makes you easier to tour and to go to other city and explore your community in other city, because you will not talking only to the Spanish people, where maybe here in Miami the community of Spanish is smaller than obviously in Spain.
Yeah.
So if this comedian comes and you are talking to only hablas español and that's the goal, like to people who speak Spanish, you have a large market to tour and to do shows all over the place.
Got you.
Mm-hmm.
And do you have like a rising star right now? Is on your radar? Like, hey, this is like a guy that I know is going to break through really big, or a woman. Do you have like any type of talent that maybe is relatively unknown? Not a lot of people know him, but you say, watch out for this person?
Probably a bunch.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's a great answer. Let's go.
I mean, that's her specialty in the sense of... And I want to kind of go back to the point with your question about like what is one of the hardest things from my side and perspective. It's like we kind of have created, in my opinion, a great yin and yang about her experience and knowledge and connections in the international market. And then from my side, as far as putting this together and how we can connect it into the United States, it's kind of like the most of the U.S. market without someone like Ximena doesn't know what to do with the talent. Okay, you have 1 million followers. Okay, you have 200,000 followers. Our core is not this demographic or this group. So the answer to your question is that's a big reason why this festival is kind of come to be what it is it's that answer to what do I need to do to break into the market. It's creating the channels and systems and communications between both sides of this. So the U.S. market, I was in a meeting probably a year and a half ago, and in that meeting was, I would say, representative by about 50 to 60 comedy clubs as far as the actual people that book it, as well as some large touring platforms. And there was a big part of the meeting that was just about connecting this international market and what do we need to do and how do we do it.
Wow.
And that was part of when Ximena came to me. I'm like, this is just hitting on so many levels. This festival can be the answer to that question about, well, what are the hardest things and what do they need to do? It's like, well, this is a starting point for what they do.
This may sound like a dumb question. I guess because we live in Miami, sometimes we're like in a bubble. But are there other venues throughout the country that dedicate or have space for only Spanish-speaking comedians, or not really?
No, and that have been difficult for me, like to tour Spanish people in other venues, like in improv. I remember like once I called Improv Columbus, and I went to
Columbus,
do a show.
Ohio.
Yeah.
Good luck selling Spanish tickets there.
And he told me, I don't think this is your market. Go to Orlando. He told me. Now I say, please give me the date so I can do this show there. And he was impressed. I say, how did you do this? And I say, I know the comics that I'm working. I know, not perfect, but I feel that there is a market there, and all the shows that I take there, we sold out.
I would never have thought you'd sell out a Spanish artist in Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah.
Pero hay muchos hispanos that we don't even know about then.
Yes. No, I do tours in Chicago, Washington, Indianapolis, Charlotte, Raleigh. There are biggest community and smaller community.
Wow.
Dallas, Houston.
Nashville.
Like I manage a comedian that led Varela that we have 2 shows here. And he sold out. We're going tomorrow to Houston. He sold out Houston, Dallas. It's 800 people, 400 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
These are big numbers.
It's a big,
Wow.
Yes, it's good. What is going and is growing. It's growing.
I would never have ever thought about that. Where was Miami like the incubator for this Spanish like approach, or has this been happening for a while?
Well, I would say you're right in the sense of Miami is a bubble and what we can do and accomplish here because of just what the melting pot it is. And again, the way the community just fluctuates. There's no city like it. But I would say only incubator in the sense of us working together. I would say the real push has just been, and again, this is my interpretation. It's just there's so many people now with what social media has allowed to happen that have followings that are all of a sudden selling out in their own cities in South America. And it's like, okay, well, this natural progression is here. And again, there's no channels to break through that market.
Yeah.
It's like I study the comedians, but the comedians have their followers in those cities. So I study a little bit where are their followers and what is the risk of what is the size of venue that we need to do the show.
Got you.
So we begin. Sometimes I say let's start smaller and we see what's going on, but. An example is like there is a Peruvian podcast, Hablando Huevadas. I don't know if you heard about it.
Now I have.
You didn't hear about it.
No, I haven't heard.
Yeah. They sold Madison Square Garden in 10 minutes.
No.
Yeah. Like.
That's what, like 30,000 people, 20,000 people?
I don't know, like 12,000?
Madison Square Garden.
It depends on where they had the block.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Oh, because the heat is like
but
20,000.
They were in
did
the
it.
big venue.
Yeah,
They sold out in 10 minutes. It was impressive.
No,
George
but
Harry
you know what? That
does
makes sense because
too.
it's New York too, I believe. You know,
Oh.
I would understand that. You know, but Madison Square Garden, the MSG is the
But
capital.
still, yeah.
But still, it's a huge venue.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't believe that a Spanish community can do that.
You know, I'm curious to know your thoughts on this. And it's a little bit off topic from the event per se, but in the American market, the last couple years, I think it's kind of like died down a little bit, but there was this really big push for like cancel culture, you know, like comedians being canceled because of what they're saying. And I think like the way people kind of want to maybe monitor, like, you know, what we're saying, etc. I feel like in the Hispanic community that doesn't exist. Does the cancel culture exist in the Hispanic community?
Yes.
It does?
A lot.
Oh my God, I would never have thought
more,
that.
More.
No way.
The American are more risk that yeah. And some communities more than others.
Oh,
yeah.
wow, I would never have thought that. I
Because
feel like
sometimes the audience, when they record their shows, they can upload some content and it's out of the how you say,
out of context.
yes.
Yeah.
And that's the thing when you upload content is you don't know what is the story about it, you know? And when that travels the internet, sometimes it's a mess. There are many comedians that they have been canceled and they have to say, okay, sorry. And I love the comedian. I love to take the risk. I think some ones are more sensible, and sometimes the audience are more sensible.
Yeah.
But, well,
I mean, personally, I like comedians that are edgy, you know?
Yeah,
Because I
I
wanted
love
to
it.
make fun of me. I wanted to make fun of my friends. I wanted to make fun of all of us, you know? I think that's the funny part, you know? I feel, and this just got, I mean, I don't know if you mentioned to me the other day that we spoke about, but how difficult, or this kind of has that vibe of like the possibility of this maybe being like a Netflix special or something like that. Like, is it possible to get all this like on some type of streaming platform, the festival you're doing with each individual artist? Or
So the short answer is yes.
Okay.
The logistics behind that are being worked out now. We will 100% have full production. We'll be recording. We'll do some stuff streamed depending on what gets worked out with the comic. But the full answer is yes. And our goals and the way we're looking in the years to come and the partners we're making now that we're looking to have for, again, years to come, that streaming / special / shows coming out of the festival is an enormous goal that we have in moving forward, because we have the talent, right? We have the shows. It's just capturing it, editing it, and properly producing it, and then finding somebody to put it out on.
that lately, the last couple of years, Netflix has been doing some nice specials on TV.
Oh,
Yeah.
they've been great
You
for
know,
comedy.
Yeah.
They've been really good for them.
Yeah.
You know, that's been impressive. You know what they've been doing.
They're a big part of this whole reason of forget international comedy. That was the conversation where comedy in general is in a great place, and Netflix is a big part of it.
I think so too. I think we need more comedy. You know,
Yeah.
I think sometimes we take ourselves too serious. I'm curious to know. So you're getting this bundle of talent. You know, an example, Luis Chatin, which I know
Luis
is
Chatin.
which I know is your husband. Old school comedian. You know, funny guy, good person. And then he translates to the camera well. He translates to promotions well.
Yeah.
Everything. And then he sees now like this younger generation coming up and just leveraging social media to like gain a rapid audience. Curious to know your thoughts on how like the older comedians see this like new wave of comedians coming in. Do they see it as a threat? Do they want to collaborate with them? Do they see it as like, are they trying to take tips from them? How do they manage that?
They see it part of the life, you know. He was on the top when he was on the top, when he was that age. So it's normally when you are younger, you take more risk than maybe when you have more experience, you are more
Conservative.
Yeah. But no, I don't see. They don't see it as a threat. They see like, oh, look what they're doing. Maybe sometimes they don't share the way that they do it, but if it works and if it makes fun and if you laugh,
if there's a laugh,
yes, that is comedy. Like the mix that what is happening now from the old, how do you say, the old position and the new position. This is changing all the time. So you have to be open what is going on. Like before, we have more TV exposure and the people wanted to do material and go to TV. Now these new people, they don't want to go to TV. They want to make good content in the digital market. So it's different ways, the way of life. And what I recommend or what I see is that you have to go on and they love to share content. He does a lot of content with all these people that are coming up. So he plays their game sometimes in social media too.
That's good.
And that works incredible good.
Yeah, I know. How do you go about both of you? It's a question for both of you. How do you go about like making a decision on recruiting like a new comedian that's coming into the market? You know, in your case, you're going to represent them as a talent.
Yeah.
What are you kind of looking for in this person? For those people who maybe want to break into comedy and they don't understand, you know, how to find an agent to represent them or and they're probably really funny and they get good views. How would you say is the best way that you guys go about that?
The beginning is to have good content in social media.
Be funny.
I get the people, yeah.
Be funny?
Be funny.
Be funny.
Be funny. Funny always wins.
But the thing is that your funny may be
well.
different than my funny, or like, is there like a niche? Like,
yeah,
hey,
but there's a truth to funny that it may not be for everybody, but it's for enough people that you're creating some kind of a buzz. You're hitting a nerve.
Got you.
It's what I would say the best advice from the beginning, and we speak kind of from the same but also different, is focus on the material, focus on having a voice that you're comfortable with, that you can perform. And whether that's through social media and characters, or whether it's on stage and your actual stand-up or crowd work or whatever, but focus on the material and the craft. And then the managers and the agents and the sponsorship, they kind of all fall into place. But the people that have talent and really work on improving it, you'll get found as long as you're getting it out there.
It's like I manage another comedian. He's living in Argentina. His name is Manuel Angel Redondo. When I begin working with him, he sold 100 tickets. Now he just sold out in Chile 800, and we just opened another one.
How long ago was the gap between that? Like, how long did it take him to grow like that?
What they take, if you have a good idea, if you have a good content, and if you are constant on your work, it takes between 3 and 5 years.
No, it's not bad.
It's really fast. That
Yeah.
is something that I love to get them in the beginning, because when they get bigger, they, it's more difficult.
Do their own way.
Yes. But all these people who are doing good podcasts, good content in social media, good sketches, that is the time that they grow, because you see the numbers. When you have a sketch that you upload on your phone and it have 8 million views because the people start sharing your content, you begun with that.
How do you guys feel? And I had actually asked this to Jeremy Piven, and I don't think he gave me like a solid answer on this. Or maybe I don't even know if you guys can or can't. How do you feel about ChatGPT, artificial intelligence being like brought in now, and people most likely like writing sketches and strips off of like artificial intelligence? Is that something you can pick up on, or is that like something that you don't think is going to make an impact in the comedy world?
Well, I use ChatGPT to do everything. I'm using it everything.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I think that comedy, if it works, the material, what you're doing, it doesn't matter where you get it. The important thing is to not copy.
Not copy something.
Not copy. Yes.
So I'm going to ask you that later, but go finish the.
But you need tools to ChatGPT and all these digital.
It's another tool.
It's another tool.
I think it's inevitable. It's another tool. The purists might feel like, no, you need to be in a room writing, and but I think it's there. It's available. People are going to use it, and just because you prompt something in ChatGPT does not mean you're all of a sudden going to be an internet IG sensation and getting sponsorships and selling tours. There still has to be a process in how you connect, because you're not connecting a computer to computers on this. You're performing in some way, whether it's digital or whatever, to people. So I think there's still a skill set and a talent in how they present whatever.
Do you think there's a possibility of being like the first AI robot comedian?
I mean, the answer
everything is possible.
Yeah, the answer is of course.
Can
it's
the improv
possible.
set this up and be the first one to get to it?
You can have the server, telling jokes.
AI comedian. We got to talk to Elon about that.
I mean, up front, it's a gimmicky type thing that you could probably get away with a little bit, but I feel like you wouldn't build a core like following and something to grow like a human could.
Yeah.
But Who knows?
It's like an emotional attachment that you have.
Who knows?
Yeah. So I've heard that this is maybe a question for both of you. How sacrilegious is it to copy somebody else's work or try to make a play on it and reuse it? Is like, how do comedians, like if that happens to them, what do they do or how do they feel about that? Do they go out there and talk about it? Or like if I go and I copy similar work to like another comedian?
So I don't want to, I'm not coming from a comedian stance. So I want to represent that, right? I respect the craft that they do and I respect the work that they do. From my perspective and what I've heard, and I'm, again, not speaking for comedians, but what I've heard is basically like, look, at this point in time, the amount of material that's out there, the amount of material, what you may have heard and remember who said it or didn't, it's just like you kind of have to have a conscious understanding about, did you get material from somewhere? Are you giving them an homage and giving them credit, or are you just ripping it off? I mean, I think if there's an intention there that you want to take something and make it yours and present it like it's yours, I think there's a big issue there. I mean, the comedy world, again, I don't want to speak for it, but they're good at filtering people out now with social media on people that do steal material. But it's a bad thing because what usually happens, it's those with power take from those without power. So it's the younger people that are up and coming, and somebody may hear it and just kind of manipulate it and make it theirs. But no, it's not a good thing ever.
Got you.
And on my perspective, I have worked with comedians that they have shared the material with me, and then I have a meeting with another comedian and they share the same insight.
wow.
Yeah, I have been in that way
Yeah.
that they haven't seen their material,
Yeah.
but they have the same insight. So once I have an experience that I was really in shock, like Led was in New York doing his show and he had an opener, and the opener began with his show with the same, but almost the same story as Led,
Yeah.
and it was incredible. I saw him and I say, it's out there. The stories are out there. And sometimes they have the same vision and they take it out. Obviously, the delivery is not the same.
Of course.
But that happened. Sometimes I say, that's not a copy. That's a material that...
Yeah, same topic.
that's the same
Different
topic.
approach.
Yeah.
How you just mentioned it earlier, but how important is it structuring like the right opener for your presenting comedian or for your headliner? Like how do you guys go about that? Because you don't just bundle anybody up, or do you?
No, I'll say it's very important, but I'll let you answer that. Yeah.
Yes.
There's a balance.
It's very important.
Yeah.
It's very what I try to do when I have openers. I know many of the comedians and I have seen many of the comedians.
Because there's a lot of ego going on there.
Yes,
too. Like
I
I'm
know.
opening for this person.
I know. But what is important is sometimes, like, we have a show where we give opportunity of this comedian that they are coming up. They can improve their material, and we give a place that they can do it, because the only way to get better it's like a muscle. You have to work. You have to go to the gym every day. So that happened with the material with the comedians. They have to get it better. Like when you go many times on the stage, you get better. And that's the way to do it. So what I try to do is that if I'm not sure if you have a good material, you have less time. If you have the opportunity to have two openers, you have a very strong opener as the second who can present the principal comedian. And you have this opportunity to this comic that you can have 5 or 8 minutes to see if it works or it doesn't work. So you take that risk, but no, you don't have two comics opener that there are, let's say, devil.
Oh, okay.
In English.
Soft.
Yeah.
Soft.
So you need at least one strong comedian in the lineup.
But when the people are buying tickets, they're expecting the headliner.
Yeah,
Yes, of
99% of the time,
Yeah.
it's the headliner that moves the tickets.
I mean, this is like more of a business question. Do the openers get paid anything? No, it's just usually
They do. Every show is different when it comes to the deal and the structure, but yeah, there's a form of payment.
There's a form of payment for the opener, so they're not just going to get exposure.
If you want.
If you want.
Yes, but it's nice to
Because
pay
the person,
them because of the time.
because the person who's
and-
drawing the people is most likely the headliner. I'd be like, hey, I mean, I feel like the headliner is the one that needs to be nice and say, listen, take care of them. That's fine.
Yes, it's nice, but most of the headliner, they are not announced. So the people who bought the ticket for the show is for the headliner.
Correct.
So this is the opportunity for you to expose and to present you as a comic. So
Correct.
They see that as an opportunity more than waiting or willing to be well paid.
Got you.
Yeah.
And do you have every comedian.
Well, I wouldn't say everyone. but yeah.
Do you have like top favorites, like top 3 favorites that you have that you actually like?
I love all the comedians around the world equally.
Not a good question
They
for
are
us.
all so funny. And
That's the best
amazing.
question.
Yeah, no, I
Do you
love
have
everyone.
one favorite comedian in Miami or not really? Like a Miami
Oh,
comedian?
you want to even hone in on Miami
Yeah.
and make it worse for
Yes.
me? These people live here.
No,
love-
Robby, don't
Nah,
say
let's
it.
not doing that. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. I put Robby in a bad spot there.
No.
Can you imagine? Just pick you. I ask
Pick
you
one.
that. You pick one.
I mean,
your
I have
favorite
I have a
comedian?
favorite
Your
comedian right
best
now.
client.
No, but I got in trouble last time for saying something about it. So, Jimena, you are collaborating with Improv and Robby. You have Miami's Un Chiste Festival. Bueno, let me say it in Spanish.
Okay. Miami es un chiste.
Jimena, tienes un festival que viene a Miami comenzando junio 13. Háblame un poquito del Miami es un Chiste Festival y qué es lo que pueden esperar la gente.
Bueno, Miami es un chiste, el primer festival de comedia en español. Va a traer muchos comediantes hispanos a la ciudad de Miami, más sumado todos los comediantes de la movida aquí local, donde podrás disfrutar de estos diferentes comediantes del 13 al 21 de junio. ¿Quiénes van a venir? Bueno,
Eso es lo que todo el mundo quiere saber.
exacto, todo el mundo quiere saber. Va a venir,
Give us your
va a
top
haber
three,
una
top
comediante
three.
No voy a decir top 3, no los voy a decir en
Ok,
orden
ok.
ni preferencia, pero bueno. Va a venir Lucho Mellera, de Argentina, un comediante espectacular. Nanutria, Ariel Santana. Nanutria es de Venezuela, pero vive en Argentina también. Ariel Santana, República Dominicana. Eric Bonilla, de Puerto Rico. Juan Cajiao, Colombia. Cristina Sánchez, Puerto Rico. Lucas Lauriente,
Ok,
Argentina.
ya,
El Pío, Led Varela, Galder Varas de España. Poli Díaz, Carl Luis Medina.
That is amazing.
Elia Servilla, Martita Granada de España también, Fabricio Copano, Antonio Saní, Gabo Ruiz, Luis Chatén, Carlos Sánchez, Starlin Ramírez, Manuel Ángel Redondo, Stefan Dyer, bueno,
It's
y mucho
huge,
más.
huge.
Va a venir
Yeah.
muchísimo.
Huge lineup,
Viene
huge
Nacho
lineup.
Redondo, Ángelo Colina, Ricardo Mendoza.
Y todavía tenemos unos que no hemos...
No, y sigue sumando, que
Sí.
esto va a estar increíble.
And
So-
more to come.
That's
More to
amazing.
come.
More, there's
amazing,
even
amazing.
more to come.
Amazing,
on top of
amazing.
that.
Perfect. Okay, Robby, we have this Miami's Un Chiste Festival
Yes,
that
we're
you're
very-
collaborating with
Yes.
local talent and international talent to come into Miami.
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about it.
So we've got Miami Es Un Chiste coming in June. We're very excited about it. It kind of came from an area of filling a niche of this market for the Hispanic comedians and talent to come perform in the United States, have a connection in coming here and gaining a platform here. We're very excited about it and think we've got a lot of good things to come.
And it's going to be at the Improv in Doral.
At the Miami Improv
better
in
place.
Doral, correct.
No better place.
Yeah.
No better place. And it's going to be a festival out there on the second floor.
Correct. Yeah, we're
Festival style.
it'll expand and outside of just the improv walls, but yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Okay, excellent. I usually ask a question. The top 10 restaurants that always does well. Okay. So, Jimena, te lo voy a preguntar en español.
Ajá.
¿Ya vives aquí 8 años?
Sí,
¿Eres esposa de Luis Chatín?
sí.
¿Manejas mucho talento?
Manejo bastante.
Mucho talento. Y me imagino que te gusta comer.
Me encanta comer.
Me tienes que decir tus 3 restaurantes favoritos en Miami.
Bueno, empiezo a ver. Me encanta.
Número 3.
Número 3. Pastis.
¿Pasties?
Sí.
¿Pasties? Oh, mucha gente dice eso.
Sí.
¿Qué te gusta de pasties? ¿Pastis o pasties? No sé cómo lo dicen.
Bueno,
pero-
yo le digo pastis. Eso es pastis. Eso es pastis. Me encanta el pescado que hacen
Good.
ahí. Sí.
Good.
El brancino. Brancino.
Sí, y sabes que yo nunca he comido brancino.
Nunca.
Nunca, todo el
Me
mundo lo ordena,
encanta.
pero no, never been like a fan of it.
Me encanta.
Ver el
No.
pescado ese completo there, no, it's just weird. Like, I don't know. Mi suegra le fascina el brancino.
Sí.
Yeah.
No,
I don't know
A
why
mí me
I've never had
encanta
it.
porque es perfecto para la cena.
Sí.
O sea, comes liviano, con vegetales.
Lo que no me
está
gusta
muy
es las espinas. Que tienes que estar como cuidadoso ahí con las espinas y eso.
Bueno,
No me
pero
gusta comer
no,
así.
yo creo que
¿No?
no te lo han limpiado bien.
¿Sí?
Eso
Ah,
es,
bueno,
sí,
puede ser,
sí.
puede ser. Pero pronto tuve una mala experiencia.
No.
Entonces, número 2,
Zucca.
Zucca, fenómeno. Y están habiendo Zucca Italy.
¿En serio?
Zucca Italy, right? Zucca Italy, que es un Italian food hall, aquí a cruzar la calle.
Ah, de ellos
Fenómeno.
mismos.
De ellos mismos.
Wow.
Sí, van a abrirlo aquí en la plaza Coral Gables.
Ese es un buen lugar también para ir a comer.
Eso te encanta el italiano, entonces, número 1.
Me encanta. Y el número 1 que me encanta se llama Tai King en el Doral.
No
Ah.
way. Shout out al chef.
Yes. Me encanta Tai King.
Chef,
Es
sí.
mi favorito.
Sí, son buena gente, sí.
Sí.
Él tiene varios restaurantes allá. Yo
Él
fui
tiene
a
varios
Mondarriz, ¿cómo se llama? Él abrió uno nuevo
Ajá.
en Doral. Ay, se me olvidó. Fui hace un poco de día. Chef César.
Sí, César es increíble.
Buena persona, muy buena persona.
Yo con los nombres de
Ay,
restaurantes.
se me olvidó.
sí.
Sí. Bueno, it was very good.
Por eso que tengo mi chuleta con los
Pero él
nombres,
hace
sí.
buen servicio.
Él hace buenísimo.
Buen
Y Tai
servicio,
King es
yeah.
excelente.
Yeah, yeah. I've never been.
Sí.
It's like on 75th Street, por ahí arriba. Es que yo nunca voy a Doral. I never go to Doral anymore.
No?
Nah, man, nah. Hardly ever go to Doral.
No, yo
Well, you're
no
around
mucho.
here. I mean, you've got so much.
Yeah, I mean,
In your
I don't, yeah,
backyard.
I don't need to do much. Robby, let's
thought
go
you-
with you,
I
baby.
thought you
Let's
were gonna
go.
avoid me. I
No,
thought
we're
I
gonna
was gonna
get you. We're gonna
skip
get you.
right
I didn't
over
get you
me.
last time, so.
You had
Favorite
time to
restaurants
think it up.
by Robby. Ready? Number 3. Give it to us.
All right, first off, there is no particular order.
Okay,
here.
go. Okay.
I-
Give us-
yeah.
We'll
My-
start with number 3.
What comes to mind from experience as far as like when I good times and always good food and service, Casa Tua on the beach
Casa Tua's good.
comes to mind. I've been going there for years. I haven't been in a little while, but I've been going there for years.
What do you think about the food hall that they did in Brickell City Center? Some people said it's kind of dipped a little bit, you know, like it's not as good as the original.
I haven't been to Brickell in a little while, like as far as its city center, but when I first ate there, it was fine. Not at the level of what the restaurant is on the beach,
Gotcha.
but it seemed okay. I mean, I like what they're doing on that level of a food hall and that large of a service. I think they do a good job. Michael's Genuine. Another one that I've been going to. I mean, I can remember growing up in Broward when I would come down, like these are the places that, you know, I had limited time down here, maybe once every 2 weeks or so. So I'd go to these places.
Yeah, but Robby has deep pockets, bro. He's going to the good places, man. Number 1.
I'll go a little more conservative. and
Don't
help
tell
out-
me Chick-fil-A, please. Everybody, I've had
I
Emmy
know.
say that.
I've caught that. I've seen that on here. I was like, what? Come on.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Give us your number 1 spot.
It's going to be a local pizza place. It's called No Name. It's actually at the Wynwood Marketplace.
Oh, I haven't
Everything is from scratch.
Wow.
It's delicious. They're getting ready to expand a little bit the menu and add some more items on it, but it's a phenomenal. It's in the Wynwood Marketplace.
Wow, man, I gotta check
yeah,
that
called
out.
No Name Pizza. Check it out on IG.
That's good
It's
stuff.
a local, growing, and phenomenal.
Good. Yeah, I would like to go check that out. Pizza, I mean, I love pizza.
Yeah.
All right, guys, a real pleasure. Un placer, Jimena.
Oh, thank you
Mucho
very
gusto. Robby, always a pleasure, my friend.
Absolutely,
Thank you
brother.
guys so much.